Most men have been fed a lie. It's a pervasive, deeply rooted myth that has been passed down through generations, torpedoing the dating lives of countless well-meaning men for decades. And the lie is this: to win a woman's heart, you must give her all of your attention, all of the time. The myth dictates that you need to be constantly available, a perpetually open line of communication. You must shower her with an endless waterfall of validation, compliments, and affirmations. You must, in essence, prove your worth through a relentless, borderline desperate pursuit that puts her on a pedestal and you at her feet. But what if I told you the secret to making her not just notice you, but actively, deeply crave your attention is to do the exact opposite? What if the key to unlocking her genuine primal desire wasn't to push harder, but to strategically and gracefully pull back? What if I told you that calculated distance, not constant closeness, is the single most powerful and most dangerous tool in your entire romantic arsenal? This isn't just a different technique, it's a complete paradigm shift in understanding attraction. Now, before we go any further, let's be absolutely clear. This is not about playing childish games, being needlessly cruel, or embracing a toxic mindset. This is about understanding the deep, often hidden currents of human psychology that drive attraction, desire, and connection. It's about peeling back the layers of social conditioning to reveal a side of social dynamics that can completely flip the script on dating, transforming you from the perpetual pursuer into the effortlessly pursued. It's about learning the silent, powerful language of unspoken value. Stay with me, and we will explore the potent and frankly perilous strategy of strategic silence. I'll show you not only how to use it, but more importantly, the profound psychological and ethical lines you must be intensely aware of before you even consider it. Because when you understand this concept on a deep, fundamental level, you don't just become more attractive, you become irresistibly mysterious, fundamentally more valuable in her eyes, and you gain a powerful understanding of the human heart for better or for worse. Let's dive in. Section 1. The nice guy. Paradox. Let's paint a picture that might be painfully, uncomfortably familiar for many. You meet a woman who genuinely excites you. She's intelligent, she's witty, she has a captivating smile. She doesn't just check the boxes, she makes you feel alive. You manage to get her number, and from that moment on, a switch flips. You immediately begin executing all the right things you've been taught by society, movies, and conventional wisdom. You text her, "Good morning," so she thinks of you the moment she wakes up. You double text if she takes more than an hour to reply. A knot of worry tightening in your stomach that she's lost interest. You're the very first person to like her new social media posts, a silent, digital testament to your constant vigilance. You make yourself endlessly available, ready to drop your own important plans at a moment's notice for even a slim, uncertain chance to see her. In short, you're being the perfect nice guy. You're attentive, you're reliable, you're supportive, and you are completely, utterly predictable. And what is your reward for all this earnest effort? Polite but distant replies, vague, non-committal excuses, cancelled plans. You receive a one-way, non-refundable ticket straight to the dreaded friend zone. This is the nice guy paradox in brutal, unforgiving action. The more attention you freely and eagerly give away, the less attraction you seem to generate. But why? Why does being so available, so communicative, and so attentive backfire so spectacularly? The answer isn't logical, it's biological. It's buried deep in the primal architecture of human psychology. Attraction isn't a rational decision she makes on a spreadsheet of your pros and cons. It's a primal, visceral, emotional reaction that happens on a subconscious level. And nothing, absolutely nothing, kills that raw, untamed spark of desire faster than suffocating predictability. When she knows she has you, when she can predict your every move, every text, every bid for her attention with pinpoint accuracy, the mystery is gone. The thrill of the chase, that exciting, tantalizing uncertainty that fuels desire and keeps people on her mind, completely evaporates. You cease to be an exciting adventure and instead become a solved puzzle. A movie she's already seen the ending to. There's no tension, no drama, no space for her to wonder about you, to question your motives, to think about you when you're not there. And if she's not wondering about you, if you're not occupying any of her mental real estate, she's not emotionally investing in you. Your constant suffocating presence, which you believe signals high interest and demonstrates your high value, is actually being interpreted in the exact opposite way, as a glaring sign of a lack of options and a lack of a compelling, engaging life outside of her. In the brutal, unspoken economy of attraction, your over-availability has made your attention cheap. It's common, it's easily obtained, it's always on sale, and therefore it's easily dismissed. You've been following the rules of the game with all your heart, but you're playing the wrong game entirely. Section 2. The strategy of ignorance. This brings us to the core of this video, the solution. It's a concept that's often misunderstood, widely misused, and is incredibly, almost frighteningly powerful when applied correctly and ethically. The solution is what we will call strategic ignoring. Let's be crystal clear right from the start. This is not the silent treatment. The silent treatment is a toxic, punitive, and emotionally abusive behavior. It is a childish and manipulative tool used to punish and control someone when you feel hurt, slighted, or angry. It's a weak, reactive move designed to inflict pain and create distress, born from a place of insecurity. Strategic ignoring, as we're defining it here, is the polar opposite. It is a proactive, deliberate strategy born from self-respect, inner confidence, and a sophisticated understanding of psychological leverage. It's not about ghosting her or suddenly becoming a cold, dismissive jerk. It's about consciously and deliberately pulling back your attention, your time, your energy, your focus to create a specific, calculated psychological effect. It's about shifting your entire approach from one of chasing and pursuing to one of attracting and alluring. This means you stop being the one who always initiates contact. You stop feeling that compulsive need to reply instantly to every single message, as if your life depends on it. You become a little harder to pin down, not because you're playing a game, but because you are genuinely and actively building a life that is more important, more fulfilling, and more compelling than chasing any single person's approval. This strategic withdrawal introduces two of the most powerful psychological levers known to man: scarcity and uncertainty. By pulling back, you create a vacuum. This vacuum forces her to confront her own feelings about you without the constant noise of your validation. She has to ask herself what she actually thinks and how she truly feels. It's about recalibrating a power dynamic that has become dangerously unbalanced. It is a quiet, powerful demonstration that you are a man of high value whose respect, time, and attention are precious resources that must be earned and reciprocated, not just freely given to anyone who asks. It is the subtle, profound art of making her feel your absence, so she finally begins to truly value your presence. Section 3. The power of scarcity. The first powerful principle you have to understand to grasp this concept is the psychology of scarcity. This is a foundational concept in economics, and more importantly, in human desire. We instinctually and automatically place a higher value on things that are rare, limited, or difficult to obtain. An object, an opportunity, or even a person becomes exponentially more desirable simply because they aren't always available. This principle applies to everything from limited edition sneakers and rare diamonds to front row concert tickets, and you guessed it, human attention. When you are always available, when you reply in seconds and are always eager to please, your attention has no scarcity. It's like tap water, it's everywhere, it's easy to get, and it's easy to take for granted. It quenches a momentary thirst, but is never savored or valued. But when you strategically pull back, your attention undergoes a radical transformation. It becomes a finite, precious resource. It becomes a rare commodity. Its absence is felt, and therefore its presence becomes a genuine reward. By ignoring her, not rudely, but in an "I'm busy living an interesting and fulfilling life" manner, you subconsciously trigger this powerful scarcity principle. You're non-verbally signaling that your time and your focus are valuable resources that you allocate carefully and judiciously, which in turn makes her want to be one of the few things you allocate it to. But let's pause and call this what it is, without sugarcoating it. Intentionally making your attention scarce to increase your perceived value is, by its very nature, a form of psychological manipulation. It's a calculated move designed to elicit a specific response. Relationship experts are clear that deliberately withholding communication to elicit a specific emotional response is a well-known tactic of emotional abuse, often linked to narcissistic personality traits and a desire for control. The crucial, defining difference comes down to your intent and your reality. Is your attention genuinely scarce because you're building a business, hitting the gym, nurturing your friendships, pursuing your passions, and reading a book? Or is your attention artificially scarce because you're sitting in a dark room staring at your phone, deliberately waiting 3 hours to text back just to play a mind game and make a sweat? One is a natural byproduct of a genuinely high-value life. The other is a manipulative performance designed to get a reaction. and it can cause real emotional harm and anxiety. Section 4. The engine of uncertainty. The second principle targets a different, even more primal part of the human brain, the power of an uncertain outcome. Our minds are hardwired to crave closure and absolutely hate unresolved loops. We are pattern recognition machines, and a pattern that is left incomplete creates a kind of cognitive dissonance that we are desperate to resolve. In psychology, this is known as the Zeigarnik effect, our tendency to remember unfinished or interrupted tasks far better than completed ones. It's the nagging feeling that you forgot something important. It's the reason a cliffhanger at the end of a TV episode keeps you thinking about it all week long. When a woman isn't entirely sure where she stands with you, the story of you in her mind remains an open, unfinished loop. This unresolved narrative forces her to dedicate mental resources to it. She will find herself thinking about you at random times during the day, replaying your past conversations in her head, analyzing your words and trying to figure you out, simply to close that nagging mental tab that you've opened. When you're constantly reassuring a woman of your unwavering interest and affection, you're giving her the ending on page 1. There's no story to follow, no mystery to solve. By strategically pulling back and becoming less predictable, you inject a powerful and compelling dose of uncertainty. Her mind starts racing with questions. He seemed so interested, what changed? Is he seeing someone else? Did I do something wrong? Is he not as into me as I thought? This mental work, this process of her trying to figure you out, is a critical turning point. It shifts her from being a passive recipient of your attention to an active investor of her own mental and emotional energy. And the more energy and time she invests in thinking about you, the more valuable and significant you become in her mind. This is the principle of cognitive investment. And here we are again, walking on very shaky ethical ground. The line between creating exciting, flirtatious mystery and causing genuine emotional chaos is dangerously thin and easy to cross. Experts warn that while a little bit of initial uncertainty can spark interest and create a fun dynamic, repeatedly and intentionally creating it is a form of emotional manipulation designed to keep someone insecure and perpetually off balance. Constant uncertainty is a primary driver of anxiety and stress in any relationship. This isn't the foundation of healthy attraction, it's a recipe for emotional distress. Over time, this manufactured doubt can seriously erode a person's self-esteem, making them feel like they constantly need to perform an audition to earn your affection. Healthy, lasting love is built on a foundation of trust and security, not a manufactured state of constant, anxiety-inducing doubt. Section 5. Building value versus justifying manipulation. The third rule is often used to justify the first two, and it's the most seductive and dangerous of them all. Strategic ignoring builds your perceived value by demonstrating self-respect. At its heart, the argument goes, this strategy isn't really about her, it's about you. It's about respecting yourself enough not to chase. When you refuse to play the desperate, needy chasing game, you're making a powerful, unspoken statement to her and to the world. My life is full, meaningful, and complete on its own. My happiness and my sense of self-worth do not depend on your approval or attention. This is the core of authentic, unshakable confidence. And that kind of genuine confidence is magnetic. When you pull back because you're genuinely focused on your goals, your fitness, your career, your creative projects, and your platonic relationships, you're not playing a game. You are living the life of a high-value man. When your response to being taken for granted isn't anger or neediness, but a calm, strategic withdrawal of your attention, you teach her and the world that your attention is conditional. It's a valuable gift, reserved for those who value and respect you in return. It's framed as the ultimate act of self-love. However, this is perhaps the most dangerous justification of all because it masterfully reframes a potentially manipulative act as a noble act of self-respect. Let's be brutally honest with ourselves. There is a vast and unbridgeable chasm between healthy boundary setting and a calculated, silent withdrawal intended to provoke a specific reaction. A healthy boundary involves clear, direct, and respectful communication. It sounds like, I feel disrespected when you consistently cancel our plans at the last minute. I need more reliability to feel comfortable moving forward. Or, I'm looking for someone who is as excited to build something with me as I am. I'm not feeling that from you right now. Strategic ignoring, on the other hand, is a punitive, passive-aggressive act. You're using silence as a weapon to make her guess what she did wrong and modify her behavior to win back your favor. A truly confident, high-value man can communicate his boundaries and expectations directly. He isn't afraid of the potential conflict or rejection because his self-worth is internal and unshakable. He doesn't need to resort to silent psychological games to make his point. The very idea that you must make her feel your absence is fundamentally rooted in a desire to control her emotional state, not to build a healthy, respectful connection. Section 6. The art of application and re-engagement. This brings us to a critical, practical distinction. Mastering the difference between strategic ignoring and simply being rude. This is where most men who try to implement this concept get it disastrously wrong. Ghosting someone completely, leaving them on read for days, or being cold and dismissive in person doesn't create mystery. It broadcasts immaturity, poor social skills, and a fundamental lack of respect for another human being. Strategic ignoring is a subtle art. It's a dance. It's about pulling back just enough for your absence to be felt as a question mark, but not so much that she feels insulted, disrespected, or discarded as a person. For example, instead of seeing her text and purposefully ignoring it for a day while you do nothing, you simply get busy with your actual life. You go to the gym, you meet up with friends, you dive deep into your work or a passion project. Then, you reply several hours later, or even the next morning, with a message that is warm, positive, and engaging, but which makes no apology for the delay. An example might be replying the next day with, "Hey, yesterday was crazy, just seeing this. That sounds like a great idea." The unspoken message is powerful. I enjoy talking to you, but my world doesn't stop and start with my phone. The problem, of course, is that the distinction between strategic and rude is one you make inside your own head. Your internal justification does not change the potential for your actions to cause anxiety and emotional distress for the other person. To her, the effect can be identical, regardless of your noble-sounding intentions. The final step is knowing how to re-engage with power and purpose. After you have created space and demonstrated that your attention is a finite resource, you wait. You wait for her to give you a clear signal of investment, an unsolicited text asking what you're up to, a reply to an old social media story, a clear question that invites a conversation. That's your cue. And how do you re-engage? Not with a flood of needy excitement that instantly undoes all the value and mystery you just built. You re-engage with calm, confident warmth. Match her energy. Don't exceed it. The ultimate goal is to immediately move the interaction offline by setting up a direct, in-person meeting. For example, "Hey, great hearing from you. I've got some free time Thursday night. Let's finally grab that drink. 7 p.m. at place." It's confident, it's direct, it leads, and it assumes the yes, transitioning you from a digital pen pal back into a real-life dating prospect. Section 7. The power, poison, and true confidence. So we've dissected the dark psychology of ignoring a woman. We have navigated its tempting promises and its perilous pitfalls. On the surface, it seems like a masterclass in psychological leverage. It taps into real, observable, and undeniably powerful human behaviors related to scarcity, uncertainty, and value. It promises a shortcut to attraction, a secret backdoor into a woman's mind. But as we've seen in every single step of this analysis, this power comes at a steep, unavoidable ethical price. It is a path that walks hand in hand with emotional manipulation, the very principles that make it work, creating scarcity, manufacturing uncertainty, and providing intermittent reinforcement, are the exact same tools found in the handbook for emotional abuse. The attraction it generates can often feel a lot like a trauma response, a desperate, anxiety-fueled need for validation that you yourself manufactured by first withholding it. It doesn't create a desire for you, it creates a desperate need to solve the anxiety that you created. This dynamic doesn't foster a connection with your authentic self. It creates a dynamic of someone chasing your approval. Using these tactics might win you the short-term battle for her attention, but you will almost certainly lose the long-term war for a genuine, healthy, and trusting connection. The ultimate lesson here isn't just to learn a manipulative tactic, but to understand the darkness inherent within it, so you can consciously choose a better, more honorable path. True, sustainable, powerful attraction is built on a foundation of genuine self-worth that needs no games to prove itself. You demonstrate this not by playing games of absence, but by having the courage and confidence to be present, authentic, and direct. It's built on mutual respect, where boundaries are stated clearly and kindly, not enforced with punitive silence and psychological warfare. The truly high-value man doesn't need to manipulate a woman into chasing him. His life, his purpose, his character, and his confidence are so compelling and so genuine that the right people are drawn to him naturally and without coercion. His worth isn't up for debate because he lives it every single day in his actions and his integrity. Lastly, what's been your experience with this? Have you ever used a strategy like this? Or more likely, been on the receiving end of it? Where do you personally draw the line between creating attractive mystery and creating toxic anxiety? Is there ever a justifiable reason to use these tactics, perhaps in response to someone else's behavior? This is a complex, charged topic, and the conversation absolutely doesn't end here. Drop your thoughts, stories, and experiences in the comments below. Let's discuss it. And if you appreciate this kind of deep, unfiltered analysis of dating, psychology, and social dynamics, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next.